Hey everyone, welcome back to another Operation Meteor Briefing. This episode, we're going to be covering the pronunciations in the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. When I had played during the starter deck event, I noticed that a lot of people were struggling to pronounce some of these cards, so I'm going to make a few videos. I am going to do my best to remember some of this stuff. It's been a minute since I watched Mobile Suit Gundam, and I think I remember quite a bit of this, so I'll also got some bits of trivia. Maybe some things you may know, some things you may not know, but anyway, we'll get started. So first off, we've got the Gundam in MA form. So MA in Gundam typically means mobile armor. So a standard mobile suit is that of a bipedal machine with just, looks like a person. In this case, why this is a mobile armor is that we have the Gundam attached to part of the G fighter, which is, we'll see later on, is a armor. This helps the Gundam with extra speed, propulsion, and helps it move a little quicker. Then we have the gun cannon, pretty straightforward there. The gun tank. And then this is the GM, also known as a GEM. The reason why is people in the community like just call them GEM. And then trivia bit, RGM, it just means refined Gundam model. Then we get to Amuro, son of Temray. So Temray's point in this is that he was the Gundam's chief designer of the Gundam gun cannon gun tank. Hayato Kobayashi, one of the recruits on Side 7 that gets drawn in, primarily uses the gun tank, later upgrades to a gun cannon in one of the movies. Pretty solid guy later on. Kai Shiden, he primarily uses the gun cannon and pretty already wins quite a bit in the birth, but he matured later on in other series. The White Base, it's the principal ship that you'll follow in Mobile Suit Gundam. Char's Zaku. Cool thing about Char's Zaku is that it is painted red for his own thing, but it also has limited removes. Those limited removals allow his Zaku to move up to 3 times faster than your standard unit. Cool thing is that if you look here, this MS 06, if you see an 06 number, that usually means that that's the grunt unit of the series. And then we have some Zaku 1s. You see them a little bit throughout the Mobile Suit series. They're kind of pretty much they're kind of how you say it, they get demoted down to current units moving grades, equipment, and that sort of thing. And then we have your standard Zaku. One thing to note is that in a lot of series, if after you see the model number, you'll see like an S or an F, it means that it's a variation of that mobile suit. Where Char had an S after that one, really, you don't have nothing after that. This is a Goof, not a Zaku. Oh, and this is new. You guys can also check up to see if there's any rolling updates on the card. Will be pretty handy if you have a question about a specific rolling on there. It's like that was updated July 4th. Char Aznable. He is the primary antagonist of Mobile Suit Gundam. You'll see people refer to folks as Char clones in other series because he starts the whole series, or say the whole franchise, by wearing a mask throughout the whole Gundam franchise. And it's kind of interesting that you only get to see his mask with him without his mask for a few episodes. Rumble Rawl, the Blue Giant, the minor antagonist. Kind of a sad but fun note is that he's technically only 35. And then we got the Fommel. This is Dolo Lobby's later becomes Char's capital ship. You can see his Zaku in the back with 2 others. And then we'll keep going more of the RX-72 Gundam and gun cannon. I deal with the fact that they have a lot of different arts and variations on some mobile suits and fighters in the series. The G-Fighter, this is what I was referring to earlier. The G-Fighter splits into 2 pieces and can also house the Gundam inside of it completely, saving its propulsion for fights later on. We see various members of the White Base pilot the G-Fighter. Gundam with bazookas. And then the G-Sky, basically this little ship right here is called a core booster. And what this does is that it functions as an escape vehicle for Gundam pilot, and then this just attaches it to allow it to increase its mobility. The ball is the original space suit that they were using before mobile suits were invented for the Federation fighters. And then Char's Galgoog. Again, Char gets a specialty version with this S by there. It's painted red, and fun fact, this Galgoog on paper has almost the same or even some specs better than the RX-78 Gundam. Maybe we just get some more of Char's cool Zaku. The Big Zom. This is a mobile armor. To put it easily, this thing towers even above the Gundam, which is pretty massive as it is. It takes quite a few people just to take this thing out. And then the Rickdom. It's another type of mobile suit that was a competitor to try to be mainstay mobile suit for Xeon, but it ended up getting beat out because it just cost too much just to build one of those things. But you might see a group called the Black Tri-Stars later on who make good use of that machine. And then we got a regular Galgoog. And then again, this mobile suit, another competitor for the Zaku spot as the main force. Basically, the way this runs out is that this is primarily a close combat machine with only a few missile pods and a beam saber. Galgoog, some Zaku's, the Agog, just another mobile suit that's more for the amphibious type missions. The Azon, it's a mobile armor, gives the RX-78 some problems later down the road. The DOP, it's a lightweight fighter transport machine that you see when they're in the Earth's atmosphere. Sailor Mass, she ends up joining the White Base crew and becomes a major pilot, piloting everything on the ship practically. I think there's a few times where she even gets into the Gundam and gives it a try. Makure, he is very devoted and dedicated to helping Cassilia Zabi in the back there. Tries to strengthen her position in the family and tries to do his best he can to move up in the ranks to support her. This gentleman is Bright Noah. He starts off as a junior officer and later, through circumstances, becomes the captain of the White Base. You'll see him a lot in the Mobile Suit Gundam franchises. He is also known to be very much on the disciplinary guy in the series, training up young pilots with his famous Bright Slap. Matilda, she ends up helping the White Base in the parts of the series with supplies and parts, and has a huge impact on Amuro's perspective of what it means to be a soldier. And then we've got Giran Zabi. He ends up he's the eldest of the Zabi kids and ends up trying to take over, and he's got some, issues, but he's got ambition. This is Dolzo Zabi. He was the pilot of the Big Zom. He very much a father figure, but he is a major force in the Xeon Space Forces. Strategic Arms featuring the Solar System Ray Gun. Basically, it's a huge beam weapon that ends up destroying places. Side 7, this is where the Earth Federation was building the Gundam, gun tank, and gun cannon. It becomes pretty much the start of where we see the Gundam series take place. The Zanzibar, another ship that we see when they're on Earth. And then we get some tokens, and usually that means we're kind of close to the end of that, so let's see if there's anything else. Let's see, I think this is just all the tokens that we generate from the Fumble and the White Base, and then some cool EX sources. We're going to try to figure out a video on what EX resources can be obtained and how to hopefully help you guys track them down later down the road. And that's it. And thank you for watching. And as always, go forth, Gundam Team.